In today's video, we're going to be taking a long-range look here into the rest of October and pretty well into November. We're going to get an idea of this temperature pattern that we have upcoming. There is a lot of colder air on the way for both sides of the country, so I think everybody's going to be happy or upset, depending on what you want to happen, really. But we're going to get a fair share of all of it for pretty much everybody in the nation, I would say. Is pretty much what I'm thinking at this point and what this model is going to show. We're actually going to be taking a look at two models here today, the European model and the CFS model, which is a more long-range model. Right now, we're taking a look at the upcoming stormy pattern here, and we can see that there's plenty of precipitation expected throughout the day today for a lot of the south-central United States and even here across portions of the mid-Atlantic and kind of the southern Ohio Valley. Is that what you'd call that? I don't know. We can see this trough moving in here already, and this is going to be the story here for a little while. As we continue on, we see some unseasonable snowfall occurring here across the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley here. So we have some of this going on for states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. This is as we're approaching early into Tuesday, October 18th here. So we're moving along quite nicely. We can see that this trough takes hold of the eastern United States as a whole. This area in particular is going to be colder than normal during this time frame. And as far as storminess, we get pretty quiet until about the 22nd here when we begin to see some storminess moving into the western United States. And this is going to bring a lot of snowfall and a lot of cold air with it down here to the western United States. Watch this play out. We'll continue this on and look at all that snowfall we're seeing for a lot of these Rockies later on as we approach the end of October. And that just continues on, and we even see another one starting up here by the time we're reaching October 25th. That's going to be a Tuesday. So we really need to watch this upcoming pattern. If this change does occur, we can expect massive amounts of snowfall out west to start to occur. Now, as far as total precipitation here, we see that there is basically no precipitation expected here in the whites. The grays will be a tenth of an inch or less. Your greens will be a tenth of an inch to half an inch. Your blues will be half an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be an inch to 2 inches. And then your reds will be 2 to 5 inches. Which the interesting thing here is we've been seeing a lot of this in the eastern United States, but now we can see the northwest. Northern California, up to the coasts and the Cascades there in Oregon and Washington. That's where we're expecting 2 to 5 inches of precipitation, and even those browns over the Cascades going to indicate 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. Certainly a lot more than what we've been seeing, which is pretty much none for the last little pattern we've been in. As far as total snowfall, this obviously equates to a lot. We can see in the grays anywhere from a dusting, if anything. Your blues will be 2 to 6 inches of snowfall, your purples will be 6 to 10, and then your pinks will be 10 to 20 there. Pastels being even 20 to 30 inches plus there for a lot of the Rockies and the Cascades. A whole lot of snowfall expected over the next 10 days. We're going to need to talk about the extended pattern here in just a little bit. Now, first off, here's the upcoming near temperature pattern. As you can see, that trough is moving in, and by later today, we're going to be seeing this evening a lot of these areas already dealing with this major Arctic blast that we've been calling for a week or more out. And sure enough, that is taking place. We also have this positive PNA that we've been stuck in, which is kind of what's allowing for this to even take place in the first place there. And then we can see some warmth still left over for the coast, which will be moving out. By the time we reach Tuesday, we should see that this cool down is much more solidified here. Major Arctic blast in the eastern half of the nation. And obviously, things are trending warmer out west for the near future here with this cool down. But again, we know in the long range, things are looking a little bit cooler out west according to this model. So that is what the expectations are at this point. As we continue on, we can see by Wednesday, it's still taking hold of the eastern United States, especially the deeper south here. The greens are going to be anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below normal, but these purplish blues within the greens, that's where we're going to be seeing 15 to 25 degrees below normal, which is a far departure from what's typical for these regions, and you are going to feel it. Coldest air of the season so far, certainly almost within this Arctic air mass, and it is going to last quite a while. Again, we saw it take hold starting Monday. This already as we're approaching Thursday here, the 20th. We can see it dies down a little bit by the time we reach the high temperatures here of Thursday, but it is still around with these far below normal temperatures. So that's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, already the fourth day that this Arctic blast is going to be taking hold. So it's certainly, if not the coldest one of the season, which I really do expect it will be, if not the coldest one of the season, it will be the longest one of the season so far for sure. And we need to see how long it's going to take place. Let's see. Friday, things really begin to die down. We see some cooler temperatures, especially the further southeast you go, but more neutral, if anything, here in the east, I would say, by the time we're reaching Friday the 21st. And then by the time we reach Sunday, the 23rd, something interesting is happening. We fully flipped where the cold air is diving into the west, warm air is being forced into the central and the eastern United States here. And this is called a negative P&A pattern. What this does is it forces a trough here into the west, and that blocks this warm air and forces it to move around that cold air mass. Again, a positive P&A. I had some people asking what it is. That's a negative P&A. Pacific North American Oscillation. A positive P&A would look like this. We see warmer temperatures along the western regions of North America here, and this forces the cold air to move around this and head into the central and eastern United States. You see how that's the opposite? So whatever temperature this is out west for the western North America regions here in Canada and United States, whatever those temperatures are, the opposite is forced into the central and eastern regions of the state. So again, positive P&A there, that's Tuesday the 18th, and then a negative P&A by the time we're reaching Monday the 24th. And this pattern lasts quite a while, but we can see at the very, very end here, Tuesday the 25th already, we see warmer temperatures trying to return here, indicating a positive P&A. We already see some cold air forcing its way into the central United States, so potentially moving back into that pattern of a positive P&A. Only time we'll certainly be able to tell. Take this with a grain of salt, as this is towards the end of the model run here, but certainly something that is going to be a possibility. Now, as we take a look at this CFS model, this is our long-range model. This is going to give us a really long-range look all the way into November. So we're going to take a pretty darn long-range look here. Now, this is our first frame, October 17th through October 22nd here. We see this deep Arctic air heading into the eastern United States, the positive P&A. Out west, again, allowing for that cold air to work its way around. As we reach the 22nd through the 27th, this is when things get a little bit different. We see a negative P&A setting up. This is forcing the warmer air into the central United States and the northeastern United States. Cold kind of around for the southeast here. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case or not. As we reach the 27th through the 1st of November here, we see a lot of cooler temperatures out west and for the north central United States. This would spell a lot of early season snow, in my opinion. Definitely this is what would encourage that to take place, and we'd really need to watch for that if we get into a pattern like this to close things out here for October. Again, notice the warmer temperatures for the eastern states here. Now, as we reach November 1st through November 6th, things get a little bit mixed, but I'd say the coldest temperatures are out west here and then more neutral or confused here in the east, which what that means is this model is getting a bunch of different opinions and they're all mixing together and they're averaging out because they're so different. So that's why I say confused, because they're all looking in different directions, but the mean average of all of those different models ends up being this, which is kind of just averaged out. As we reach the 7th through the 12th, though, I noticed something different. The warm seems to shift back west, in my opinion. It looks a lot more warm here overall for the west. And we see more cold begin to enter back into the eastern United States. Again, around November 7th through November 12th. And this could spell some really, really cold days ahead. Especially the 12th through the 17th. Again, the eastern seaboard here looking really cold. We do see some of that for the southwest here as well, with warmth for the most part in between there for the north central United States. November 17th through the 22nd, it's kind of the same, although we shift more towards colder in the west here. And then as we reach the very end of the model run here, we see we shift fully back where there's warm out west, again indicating a positive P&A. And then we see the colder air working its way around, creating a pretty decent cold air mass here in the eastern United States. So that is the upcoming long-range pattern as I'm kind of seeing it here on these models. The European model, the one we took a look at for more of the short-range stuff. This being our CFS model where we see more of the long-range look. Overall, I would say everybody gets their fair share of cold, whether in the west, central, or eastern United States. At times, you're going to get cooler than normal conditions, but everybody will also get their equally fair share of warmer temperatures compared to normal, which is definitely different than things have been in the past. We've been seeing a lot of cold in the east and a lot of heat out west, and I think we're going to get into a much more fluctuating pattern, I would say, a much more moving pattern where we're going to see things going back and forth a lot more. So definitely something to look forward towards if you're wanting anything different than what you've been having, because you're going to get a little bit of everything. Anyway, guys, be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to Tune In Daily, as we will update you guys on all of these patterns. We do upload every single day, so if you subscribe, you will get those daily uploads. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below with your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video.